In the last video, you learned how to translate a figure by looking at all the vertices and following the directions. So if it said to move it 4 down and 3 to the right, we did that with all the vertices, and we're able to find the new vertices and then draw the new image, or the prime image. Now we've got to try and do this without a graph. So what do? Well, they still gave us directions, right? They said they wanted us to move it 2 to the left, and they said they wanted us to move 1 up, or up 1. Now, how can we translate that into a formula or into an equation? Well, what did we say? We said horizontal, or left and right, has to do with the x coordinate. So if I'm moving 2 to the left, I'm dealing with the x coordinate. And if I'm going left, I'm subtracting. So 2 to the left means that I'm subtracting 2 on the x coordinate, or x minus 2. And if they're telling me to move it up 1, we said vertical, or up and down, is the y-axis, or the y coordinate. And if I'm moving up, I'm adding. So if I'm going up 1, that means I'm adding 1 to the y coordinate. And then notice what they did here. On the x coordinate, they took every x and they added or subtracted 2, and then they got their new coordinate. So -1 minus 2 was -3. And then they took the y coordinate, and they had a y coordinate of -2. They added 1, and they ended up with -1. And they did that for every single one of the vertices. The next x coordinate was 6. They subtracted 2. They ended up with 4. Then they had -3. They added 1 and came up with -2. Then with the last vertice, we had 2. We subtracted 2, ended with 0. And for the final y coordinate, they had -5, added 1, and came up with -4. So basically, to break this down, we use the information given, the directions left and right, up and down, and that lets us know what to do to the x and the y coordinates. So let's do one more example together. I know this is a got it, but I want to do it with you. Here they talk about a quadrilateral, a square shape, or four-sided shape, and it has these vertices. Okay? So the first vertice, A, is at 0, 0. So that's pretty easy. Now, what do they want us to do to this 0, 0? Well, it says in the problem, we want to go 4 units to the right, and we want to go 2 units down. So now we have to translate this. What does that mean? Well, 4 units to the right is horizontal. We're talking x-axis. We're talking x-coordinate. To the right is adding, so we're going to add 4 to the x. So x plus 4. And then for the y, they're saying 2 down. Down is the y-axis. And they're saying down, which means we're subtracting. So this is going to be y minus 2. So our little formula here for coming up with the new coordinates of the vertices is going to be x plus 4 and y minus 2. So now what do? Now I take every single one of my vertices and I run it through this formula. So instead of x plus 4, I'm going to use my new coordinates here for A, and I'm going to write 0 plus 4. And the y is 0, so I'm going to say 0 minus 2. My new coordinate, 0 plus 4 is 4, and 0 minus 2 is -2. Now I have the new vertice, or A prime. Let me do one more with you. If we take a look at B, point B is 2, 0. I know that I'm going to add 4 to the x, so that's going to be 2 plus 4. I know I'm going to subtract 2 from the y, so 0 minus 2, and I end up with the coordinate pair 6, -2, and once again, this would be B prime. So we're using the words from the directions, all right? When they say 4 right, we know that that means x plus 4. When they say 2 down, we know that means y minus 2. And we apply that to all 4 of these vertices, and then we can come up with what the prime vertices are. Go ahead and finish that table on your own.